Hello and welcome to autoX. We on this channel are no strangers to the X1, neither in its petrol or diesel guide nor in its electric version. But this is different. It is the iX1 long wheelbase version, which means it gets more space inside, and as an added bit of caveat, it's assembled in India, which makes it a lot more affordable than its ICE-powered versions, than its standard electric version, and even compared to rivals like the Volvo XC40. So, is this the ultimate luxury electric SUV that you can buy in this country? Well, by the end of this video, you're going to find out just that. Well, let's start with the design, and styling is obviously always an objective part of the review. Now, if you liked how the iX1 looked, well, you're going to love how the new long wheelbase looks. And if you didn't, I'm sorry, but this looks exactly the same. The silhouette roughly matches what there was in the standard version. However, the length has increased to 2,800 millimeters. That's an increase by 116 millimeters. And 108 millimeters of that is an increase in the wheelbase alone. Now, in my opinion, it does look proportionate. It doesn't look like a GQ model with long legs and a small torso. I think it looks rather handsome. However, there were a few highlights which I really liked with the standard X1 and the iX1, and they have been carried forward to the long wheelbase version too. Let's start with the BMW adaptive LEDs. Now, I always like the styling of BMW lights, and these are no different. They're going to look mean coming in your rear view mirror. Then you get the closed off grille, and which I feel ties in the front end styling all together. Then of course you have a sharp looking front bumper design with hexagonal elements strewn all across it. And then if you move to the side, the design is pretty familiar, and overall it doesn't look disproportionate. Now, if I have to talk about my favorite highlight on the side profile, it definitely has to be these 18-inch M alloy wheels. I think they look really good in this two-tone version and really complete the elegant appeal of the iX1, which of course BMW does go for. What BMW does mention is that the increase in length is focused at the back. The size of the door has gone up. In fact, the angle at which the rear door open has also gone up, which makes it easy for ingress and egress. Of course, then as you guys can see, in this dark blue tinge with the chrome elements strewn all across it, it does look pretty good from the side. And of course, the rear too does keep the styling from the regular versions. And overall, I think I'm a fan of what the iX1 has to offer, even in its long wheelbase version. Now, another thing is that this has now grown ever closer to the X3 in its size, and that's exactly the appeal that BMW is looking for. This fills in the gap between the X1 and the X3 perfectly, in terms of size at least. However, we will be stepping inside to see what the USP is there. However, before we do move inside, if you are asking what is the most obvious way to spot the standard version from the long wheelbase version, well, that has to be the badging at the back, which makes you know that this is the long wheelbase version. Now, as I mentioned previously, the door now opens wider. As a result, it is very easy to climb inside. So much so that anyone of any size will find it easy to get in. And once you do, you'll realize that the cabin space has vastly improved. Now, BMW mentions they have the widest and tallest cabin space in the segment. They also have the best knee-room. Now, outside I mentioned that the length has increased to 2,800 millimeters, which is an increase of 116 millimeters, and all of that is been put to good use in the back. The seat cushion now gets more firm, it is more comfortable, and the length of the seat cushion has also increased by 15 millimeters. Over that, the legroom has been improved by 109 millimeters. Now, in the standard X1 and iX1, I standing at 5'7", well, I did find it hard to get a comfortable space for my foot, but here I have no issues at all. I can absolutely lounge out, and I still will have enough space to lounge out some more. Then of course, the features remain largely the same. You get a rear armrest with 2 cup holders, you get separate AC vents, you get Type-C charging ports. However, there is no separate control for the AC blower settings. But Nevertheless, you do get niceties such as the Harman Kardon system. You get a pretty nice and airy cabin. Of course, you do get a moonroof, and in typical BMW fashion, they don't tell us the size of the moonroof in inches or meters. It is 9 square foot long. Now, of course, that shouldn't matter to anyone else, just as long as it makes the cabin feel more airy and light, which it does, especially given the dark upholstery that this model is spec'd with. But let's go ahead, let me give you all the highlights of the front cabin space. Now the front cabin ambience and the features remain similar to the standard models, which is not a bad thing. You really liked how it put the car's design and the interior together, and it's similar in the iX1 long wheelbase. You get two 10.25-inch screen setup. Now the graphics are crisp, it's easy to use, and a particular highlight definitely is the My BMW app. Now the company mentions that this is an EV, and if you're going for long drives, you need an optimized route planning for an EV, which takes into account working chargers along the way, which this will plan out for you. So that really makes it convenient and hassle-free in order to do long travels with the iX1 long wheelbase. Then, of course, we come to the steering wheel. This is large, this has been borrowed from bigger BMWs, and it really ties in the space. Of course, this is the M Sport package, which means you get the M badges strewn all across. Then you look everywhere. The quality of materials is really good. The fit and finish, as usual, is fantastic. Everywhere you touch, the double stitching, the soft touch materials, the metal-like accents, all of it exudes a feeling of class. Then, of course, comes the standard features, which are luxury necessities in a BMW. You get a wireless charging, you get electric adjustable seats with massage function, you get the Harman Kardon surround sound system, you get the BMW modes, the expressive modes, which you've started getting in the new line of vehicles. And overall, the features are there, the comfort is there, the ambience is there, and this is a BMW through and through. One of the biggest hindrances in the previous one was the seating space at the back, which definitely has been accounted for. However, it's not perfect. There are 3 quirks which I feel could have been a little different. One is this, the center console. It opens towards the driver, thus making it difficult to exactly know what is inside without taking your eyes off the wheel. Now, this was there in the CBU unit of the iX1, and with the assembly done in India, I think they just carried over the part, and again, I wish this would have been different. And the space inside is also lacking. Nothing really to shout home about. You can keep knickknacks in the form of receipts, pen, your keys, etc. Then comes the wireless charging pad. Now this is a unique feature in its own because it has a vertically stacked pad. So you have to keep your phone standing upright, and there is a panel which holds it upright. Now my main issue is the fact that the best use case scenario for wireless charging in a vertically stacked position would be that you can use Google Maps without having to connect your phone through Android Auto or Apple CarPlay connectivity. But because of the panel which holds it upright, well, you can't really see the entire screen, and that point is kind of negated. Third and finally, my main gripe is the manual adjustment for the steering wheel. For a car that's going to cost upwards of 55 lakh rupees, I think this is kind of an oversight from BMW. But overall, fit and finish, the quality of materials, the features, blah blah blah, all of it is there. It is a BMW, and it's going to get you the attention that you want. And overall, the front passengers, the driver and co-passenger, have all the luxury necessities to be happy. You have the space at the back to keep the rear passengers happy. So this is now much more friendlier family vehicle. But then again, while space has been added to the equation, performance has gone down. This is now a single motor electric vehicle rather than the twin motor setup which you used to get with the standard iX1. So how is it going to perform? What's the range? Well, we'll talk about all that when we start driving. So let's go do that. Alright, finally, now we get to performance. Now, As compared to the standard iX1, this gets a single motor setup and it is a front wheel drive drivetrain. It gets a 66.4 kilowatt hour battery pack, in total producing 205 bhp and 250 newton meters of torque. Now, if I had to best describe the performance of the iX1 long wheelbase in this front wheel drive single motor setup, well, they would be brisk and progressive. As soon as you step on the throttle pedal, well, there is a shove in the back, but it's not instantaneous and it's not explosive with what you had with the standard iX1. This is more of a linear climb up the speedometer. Now, in terms of the outright performance, what I felt that this feels more like a lukewarm hatchback rather than an all-out luxury electric SUV. It's light, it's easy to throw around, it's easy to drive in Indian traffic conditions, and overall it was fun to drive in an everyday scenario. You will never have problems with that. So the iX1 long wheelbase. Now we established it has loads of more space inside. It's become a better and more comprehensive family vehicle, but the kicker and the best part definitely has to be its price. Given that it's now assembled here, it now costs rupees 49 lakh rupees ex-showroom, which makes it cheaper, as I mentioned, than its petrol or diesel counterparts, the standard electric iX1, cheaper than the Volvo XC40, and the same price as the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Now, what more do you guys want? You get a BMW badge for the same price as a Hyundai. Now, that definitely has to be a dream for many. But obviously, this is a car which deserves credit. It's fun to drive, it has the features which you need, it has the space to keep everyone happy, and it's going to be more sustainable and a bit more efficient than the regular X1 as well. So overall, I think it definitely gets a thumbs up from my side, and the price, I really can't stop harping about it. You should definitely go and check it out for yourself.